Real quick disclaimer, I'm going to be talking about some heavy stuff in this article regarding current events and the many tragedies of 2020. Also, there are going to be some light to moderate Persona 5 spoilers, so please watch at your own discretion. Alright, let's get to the video. I think it would be fair to say that 2020 has been a pretty rough year on everyone. Things like corruption and the abuse of power within the government, acts of violence committed in the name of white supremacy, and an American public that is completely apathetic to itself are not new issues for the US. But it feels like the bow made out of garbage tying this particular pile of garbage together is the global pandemic. All of the things I just listed are heinous and horrible and should not be swept under the rug in the way that they have been for decades. But the coronavirus has added another level of stress and anxiety to the lives of everyone who understands and believes that it exists. And trust me, it exists. Because of the infectious nature of the virus, we've taken, or have tried to take, many steps to ensure our safety and the safety of those around us. However, we've lost a lot of human warmth in that process. Handshakes, high fives, and hugs are being retired as greetings, and even friendly passing smiles are obscured by masks. We shouldn't be going to restaurants or visiting with large groups of friends, so what's left? A lot of staying home. And for me personally, a lot of Persona 5. Persona 5 is the game I had no idea I needed when starting it up for the first time back in June. It's a video game that seems to be tailor-made for people struggling to cope with the far-reaching impacts of COVID-19. The very premise of the game is something of a fantasy for those of us who feel horrified by the government's inaction and inability to properly take care of the people that they're supposed to protect. For those who don't know, in Persona 5, you play as a quiet-mannered high school student who's on probation for a crime he didn't commit. He joins up with some friends and a talking cat that can turn into a car, but just go with it, to create a group of phantom thieves whose sole goal it is to change the hearts of evil and corrupt adults. Basically, the phantom thieves enter the brains of people with corrupt desires and steal their hearts, which causes them to change their ways and recognize the evils that they've committed. The ability to make people good by stealing their hearts is a power that I've fantasized about having after learning of its existence from Persona 5. It's nice to play a game where the main cast is doing what's right, because they can easily recognize when someone is doing something wrong. Towards the end of the game, the Phantom Thieves set their targets on up-and-coming Prime Minister candidate Masayoshi Shido, who publicly wants to save Japan from financial and moral ruin, while behind closed doors is organizing hits on his political opponent and abusing the power that he's amassed. You can understand where I might see some parallels to current events. Being able to see the profound positive changes that the Phantom Thieves have on their targets made me want to have their powers. Every day while I doom scroll through Twitter reading about the ever-growing list of terrible things that the government has gotten away with this year, I wish I could change their hearts. Being able to play a game where that option not only exists, but is used to change the world for the better is a wonderful escape. It makes the real world feel a lot less scary and like I'm not alone in recognizing the wrongdoing of those in power. It's a wonderful imagine if that got me excited for the end of each workday when I got to sit down, relax, and roleplay as a member of the Phantom Thieves. Because of the pandemic, I've stayed inside. I'm not a huge social butterfly anyway, regularly, but because I've hardly left the house since March, I've been itching to go out and be social. Despite restaurants, malls, and other social places being open, I don't go because I don't want to contribute to the spread of COVID. So instead, Persona 5. By night, the main cast of characters are heart-stealing phantom thieves, but by day, they're high school students who have bustling social lives. The game offers all kinds of different activities and hangout spots to do either on your own or with your friends, from batting cages to restaurants, from libraries to amusement parks. Because I can't do these things right now, the social life simulation of Persona 5 has been a breath of fresh air. Meeting up with Ryuji to go to the gym, or with Yusuke to check out the newest art exhibits, seem like unnoteworthy events, but for someone who can't do those things in real life, they're huge. While it might seem silly, because playing a game alone is the literal exact opposite of having a social life, Persona 5 has given me social connections that I'm in desperate need of right now. My own personal social life has basically been killed right in front of me because of COVID, so it's turned into learning shogi from Hifume at the church and helping Makoto keep her friends safe from an abusive relationship. While they're not real people, the characters in Persona 5 have served as my friends during 2020 in a way that I wasn't expecting. The bonds you make in Persona 5 are essential to the story and to making your character stronger. By placing such a heavy emphasis on friendship and relationships, the game was able to fill part of that void for me. Now, obviously, nothing can replace real-life friendship, but the characters in the game do a wonderful job at being stand-ins. The compassion that the Phantom Thieves show each other and the world around them is something that just feels good right now. The idea of being close to people, both figuratively and literally, is something that feels a little bit far away, but Persona 5 has done a great job of reminding me what awaits at the end of this tunnel. The escape and fantasy that this game provided me was unexpected. I didn't know that I was going to be absolutely hooked in the way that I was when I started, but there couldn't have been a better time. As the anxiety continues to ramp up this year, with the US election looming ever closer, and as our government continues to do nothing to prevent the spread of the pandemic, I'm reminded by this single loading screen tip that Persona 5 has. Take your time. It's a nice reminder when things feel like they're getting a little too big, or when I feel like I'm missing out on the social life that it seems my friends are all having without me. We are all on different paths, and I'll rejoin them once it's safe. The world is pretty tough right now, but it's a little less tough when you're playing Persona. What do you think? Are there any games getting you through 2020? Let us know in the comments below, and remember to like, share, and subscribe to DualShockers for all things Persona.